Welcome to this short training video on how to use your Classeq glass washer or undercounter dishwasher. In this video we'll show you how to operate the machine using the control panel on the front there. Also how to load the machine to get the best wash results from the machine, and then also how to drain the machine down at the end of the day, and then the items that are inside that you need to take out for cleaning. So firstly, we're going to go through how to operate and turn your machine on. So firstly, you need to make sure that you turn the electrical supply on at the wall. So turn the isolator supply on so that there's power now to the machine. Then to turn the machine on, it's this button here. That will then turn the machine on. The machine now needs to heat up and fill up. And that can take anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes, depending on the time of year and the temperature of the incoming water. While the machine is heating up, that button there will flash amber. Once it's up to temperature and it's ready to use, that button then will go green. So at the moment, all you can do is leave the machine to heat up and get ready, and it's up to temperature, and you can then start to use the machine. You'll notice two temperature readouts on the front face here there. The left one is your wash tank temperature. That will get to 55 degrees once it's up to temperature and it's ready. The second temperature there is your rinse temperature. The machine will rinse at the end of every cycle with fresh, clean water. The temperature on a glass washer will be 70 degrees, and on an undercounter dishwasher, that will be 82 degrees. You'll see that fluctuate as the machine's filling. That's perfectly normal, but once it's up to temperature and it's ready, that button will go green. One important item to check on the machine before you start using it is chemicals. All Classeq Undercounter machines come with integral chemical pumps to dose detergent and rinse aid, and it's really important to make sure that you've got detergent and rinse aid going through the machine, because if there's no soap going into the machine, you're not going to get very good wash results. So you need to make sure you check your detergent bottle and also your rinse aid bottle, just to make sure there's chemicals in there going through the machine. The blue tube is for your rinse aid, the clear tube is for the detergent, and if the container is empty, just swap them over and put the tube into the new bottle. So the machine is now up to temperature, the button has gone green, it's now ready to use. On a dishwasher, there's 3 different cycle times. The default cycle is 3 minutes. There's also a 2-minute and a 5-minute wash cycle. And on a glass washer, the default cycle is 2 minutes, and there's also a 1.5-minute cycle. The different cycles are changed by this button here. To change the cycle, it's this top button here, and you'll see the pillars at the top there. So with 2 pillars shown, you're on the 3-minute cycle. 3 pillars shown, it's 5 minutes, and 1 pillar, it's 2 minutes. And on a glass washer, you've either got a 2-minute cycle or 1.5-minute cycle. The machine will default to the 2-minute cycle. And the choice just depends the degree of soil and how dirty the items are that are being washed. Obviously, the dirtier they are, the longer potential wash cycle you're going to need to make sure you get the items clean. Make sure that things aren't stacked on top of each other, because the inside of the top item isn't going to get washed. It's vitally important that things are stacked correctly in the basket, and also scrape off as much loose food and debris that are on the items before they go in the machine. It just keeps the water cleaner for longer. So once that's all racked up, and again, make sure that the rack is completely full. Rather than putting half-filled racks in the machine, again, that's just going to waste energy. So make sure it's fully filled up. It then goes into the machine. And this button then starts the wash cycle. While the machine is going through the wash cycle, keep the door closed on the machine. Once the full cycle is finished, that blue light will go out. The machine has then finished the full wash cycle. You can then unload the machine and then put another basket in and start the process once again. This button on the machine will just change between degrees C to degrees F, or degrees F to degrees C. I'm now going to show you how to drain the machine down. This needs to be done at the end of every day when you've finished using the machine, but also it's good practice to drain the machine down during the day, generally after each service. So after breakfast service, after lunch service. This will make sure you get the best wash results from the machine. It just keeps the wash tank water cleaner for longer. So to drain the machine down, we turn the power button off and then we press the cycle button. That will then kick in the drain down cycle. The machine will also rinse itself as it's draining down. Once the full drain down cycle completes, the blue light will go off. The machine has then turned itself off. If you're then going to use the machine again, you go through the same process of filling and heating the machine up by pressing the on button again and wait for the machine to come back to green. You can then start to use the machine again. The machine's now fully drained down, so it's switched itself off. So at the end of the day, there's certain items inside the machine which you need to take out for cleaning. Firstly, the basket runners come out, one either side, and just give those a wipe underneath because they will get dirty and greasy over time. Your filters then come out, so your two filters, and they then just need a rinse in the sink. There's also two smaller filters in the bottom of the wash tank. Again, they just lift out for cleaning. And then your wash and rinse arms. So you've got ones at the bottom. Just unscrew in the middle and come out. And then also at the top. And again, just unscrew in the middle and drop down. And you'll notice the two grey wash arms are identical, so you don't need to remember which one goes top and bottom, but you do need to check, make sure the nozzles aren't blocked up with dirt and debris. And then your rinse arms, the one with the longer stem is the one that goes at the bottom. So once these have been cleaned, we can then reassemble in the machine. So your rinse arms and wash arms go back in and then screw in the middle, and then the same at the top. And then your two filters in the bottom of the wash tank, just push back in. And then the filters. The little notch goes in the front corner. So that one will go that side, and then this one will go this side. And then your basket runners, you'll see the holes at the back there. They line up with the studs in the back of the wash tank, and they will push on and clip over at the front. And then we'd always recommend as well, leave the door open overnight. That just lets the machine air dry and stops any smells building up inside the machine. If your machine's got an integral water softener, it's really important that you keep it topped up with salt when the machine asks for it. This is really, really important because it will stop the machine scaling up. If you fail to keep it topped up with salt when the machine asks for it, you'll see the inside of the machine, all the stainless steel inside will start to go white quite quickly, which is a sign of line scale. And if that starts to appear, you need to make sure, as I say, you're topping the machine up with salt. When the machine needs filling up with salt, it will tell you. On the fascia just there, you'll get a red S which will flash up. That's telling you then you need to top the internal water softener up with salt. And to do this, we remove the runner, and you'll see there the cap at the back there, and that's where the salt goes. And that just unscrews, and then there's a funnel supplied with the machine, just drops on the top there, and then you pour salt in. And this needs to be granular dishwashing salt, and you just pour that in, and that will take about 1.5 kilos to fill that up. And all we do is fill that up near the top of the softener, and then any residue that's round the rim or round there, we need to wipe that away, and then the cap just gets screwed back on, and that just needs screwing back on finger tight, not overly tight at all. And that's all we do, and then after a couple of cycles that light will go out. We're now going to go through how to adjust the chemical dosing levels for rinse aid and detergent should you need to adjust these to suit the chemicals you're using on site. Also, we'll show you how to prime the chemicals and adjust the internal water softener should you need to do so on installation. And this is all done from the front fascia. All we do is hold both main buttons in for 3 seconds. This will then get us into the commissioning mode. From here, we can adjust the chemical dosing. So R is for rinse aid, and that is set at 0.5 millilitres per litre. And to adjust that, we press the red button there, and we use the 2 smaller buttons to either increase or decrease the level. And to confirm the new setting, we press the button again. We can then scroll down to rinse aid priming. And to do this, we need to make sure that the chemical tubes are in the chemical containers, and then we start priming. And what will happen is the tubes will then be filled with chemical going into the machine. And once that tube is completely filled, the priming process is done. We then stop that. You can then move on to detergent setting, and that is factory set at 3 millilitres per litre. And again, to adjust this, we firstly select it, and we can increase or decrease to the new desired setting. And once we've got that, again, we can confirm it, and then we can move on to prime the detergent. So exactly the same process as with rinse aid. The chemical tube needs to be in the chemical container, and then we start the priming process. And then once the tube is completely filled with chemical, we can stop that. And then lastly, we can set the internal water softener to suit the exact hardness of the water going into the machine. It's factory set at maximum setting, which is 30 degrees. And again, to adjust this, we firstly select it, and then we can increase to the desired setting that we need. And this only needs to be done on first installation. And then once we've got to the setting, again, we can confirm it. And then to exit the commissioning mode, we just press the power button.